Do you believe that those in important management positions and global leadership positions arrived there through their hard work and their knowledge of the subject area? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for tuning in to your #1 channel for raw, unbiased education on physical and mental health. Today, we're going to be looking at mental health. During these extraordinary times that we're currently going through, it can be very confusing, perplexing, and utterly unbelievable to see people in positions of authority or power or management that are giving speeches, directives, basic commands to their fellow people or the people that they manage that are actually based on falsities, lies, and have nothing to do with the actual truth. Instead of using their own original ideas and their own innate intelligence, much of the time it appears that many of those people in leadership and management positions are simply just reciting and going over and perpetuating a certain script. Instead of using their own original ideas or their own intelligence, it's pretty clear now that there seems to be a global narrative or some sort of script that each of these people in their positions of power are perpetuating and pushing to their people in various parts of the world. How does this relate to mental health, you may ask? Well, it may help to reduce the feelings of anger, frustration, bewilderment, and sometimes resentment towards people in positions of power that are giving directives or guiding or forcefully commanding a particular way that somebody needs to live their life. These feelings that people feel, and I've felt them myself, anger, frustration, these are legitimate feelings to be felt because in most of the cases, what the directives are and what the commands are has changed from decades ago. Decades ago, and if we go back into the 50s, 60s, 70s, a lot of the commands and directives were actually beneficial. And this is what trips a lot of people up, because for years they rose and improved their lives, had families, etc. But now things have slightly changed, and those directives and those commands aren't necessarily based in truth and cannot be trusted. And there's a definite critical thinking aspect that needs to be applied here. Let's take a look behind the scenes at 2 illegitimate ways that certain individuals arrive at these positions of leadership and power and authority. The first of these paths to an illegitimate position of authority or leadership is through family lineage or bloodlines. There are certain families on this planet who raise their children and groom their children in a particular manner so that they can succeed them and take those positions of power and keep that power structure going. These particular children unfortunately don't have normal upbringings. I'm not suggesting that these people do not experience hard work, long hours, and challenges that we all go through. However, what I am suggesting and what I am making clear is that they're being brought up in a particular manner, in a very narrow-minded manner that doesn't allow for critical thinking, that doesn't allow for other views and paradigms and beliefs. It is set for basically global domination, global leadership, global power, and this is what they push their children into to ensure that this continues, the power stays with them. For a second, can you just imagine being one of those children where you're born into a particular family and you're told from a very young age, this is how it is, this is what you're going to be doing, this is what our family does here on the planet. It'd be very, very restrictive and soul-crushing in my personal opinion. I wouldn't want to be one of these particular children, that's for sure. The other way that we'll look at today, which actually starts off legitimately, And what I mean by that is, imagine for a moment that you are excelling in a particular field. It could be a career that you're in, it could be a business that you're running. You're really getting your name out there and you've got this established reputation, but you just want more. You'd like to grow sales, or you'd like to grow your wealth, grow your income, etc. And because your name's out there, because you're relatively well known in your community or in your local community, you may receive a tap on the shoulder or be approached by a group that offer a certain membership, a certain joining of a club, and it all sounds excellent. They're probably promising unique individual ways to increase your wealth, more sales if you happen to be in business, higher positions if you happen to have been in the establishment and trying to work your way up. A whole raft of very appealing and appetizing offers will most likely be on the table. And you think to yourself, wow, this is going to afford me to get that house a little bit higher on the hill. I can get that second Mercedes, and I can get a few other things, and maybe the material things dominate initially, or maybe the status dominates as well. Because when you go into these positions of authority, you go into these positions of power, you live quite comfortably. You live above the mean, that's for sure. So the cost of living pressures, thinking about getting half a dozen oysters versus a dozen oysters, these are not thoughts. These are not things that people in positions of power need to think about. They can just order whatever they want. Potentially could be getting all expenses paid travel regularly. There's all kinds of perks, all kinds of very appetizing offers on the plate. But what's the catch? The catch is that this group will provide you with a playbook of sorts, a set of rules that you must follow, perpetuate, and abide by in order to stay cozy with them, in order to be in the club, in order to receive all of these perks. This means that you will have to trade things like your values, your ethics, your integrity, and quite frankly, ultimately, your soul to be a part of this group and receive these benefits, receive this comfortable lifestyle where money is not an issue and you have some sort of status, or you're getting new business deals that weren't open to you before. But the playbook must be abided by. Can you imagine being one of these puppets that most of your waking life you are out there pushing, perpetuating, communicating, giving speeches, giving directives, attending particular groups and seminars and conferences where the truth is not being revealed. So you're basically going around and living a lie. And you think to yourself, well, what am I being compensated with here? And it's what, lots of money, luxury items, travel, etc. But after a period of time, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, maybe people can go their entire lives living a lie, but I'm sure after a period of time, these material things and that comfortable lifestyle will probably lose its appeal. And the individual may start to have those natural soul feelings return and say, hey, what are you doing here? And then that individual is going to be torn between, well, do I return to what I know is right and what I should be doing? Or do I stay with the club and live a comfortable life because they've been accustomed to living life quite gloriously? And that's something that can lead to big problems. Unfortunately, many who try to detach from their handlers and from these groups experience all kinds of ramifications, including having their name dragged through the mud, slander. They might face huge legal fees and legal bills. They might be publicly shamed. And the most extreme would be being removed from this planet under suspicious circumstances. Hopefully these insights can help as well when you hear an announcement or a speech or a directive or a news flash next time, and you can go, okay, this is really just a play. This doesn't contain truth. There's no common sense in what they're saying. I'm going to stand back in my power. I'm not going to externalize my power and give it away to them and get angry, get frustrated, become resentful of them. I'm going to recognize that they are a puppet on a string. They're told what to do, when to do it and how to do it. And we're all thinking, oh, they've made it there to the top. They've become this because they're so good at this, or they're legitimately the most knowledgeable in their field. For some cases, that is true, but for many, and we'd probably be very surprised if we really knew the truth, but for many, it just simply isn't. To maintain our sanity and to look after our mental health, it would be wise for as many of us on the planet right now to stop the externalization, stop the projection, stop looking to having somebody else tell us what to do, and rather standing in our own power, listening to our soul and seeking the right path forward, or at least focusing on your own health, the betterment of your own life, rather than what the puppet actors are trying to direct you to do. Let's pull the ripcord there. If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up. Didn't enjoy it, thumbs down. I ask that you keep well in the meantime, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.